We need to talk about the stock first, Nick, because that's what people care about. They want to know how the stock is doing and they want to know how the market's doing. But we are going to get to Nvidia because Jensen just did a big speech, and we will also see what you have to say about some of the things that he had to say. And
Okay.
Elon said some things too, and we'll talk about those. So,
So people said things is what I'm hearing.
so Nick Gibbs, let's go ahead and dive in. What in the world the stock is stuck? It's going nowhere. The
Mhm.
stock market is stuck, going nowhere. So you're usually perfectly willing to lay out a crisp, clear future for us.
They're all point in time opinions. Um, I don't actually think anything is stuck right now. I know it feels that way. Your brokerage might feel that way, might look that way. I don't think things are stuck. I think we just went through a very, like, extremely actually healthy pullback in the markets. And the reason I say extremely healthy is because, and I'm not going to list out everything that's happened since the start of the year. You
Right,
all know, you've all lived through
right.
it. You probably are forgetting half of them right now. But despite that, the S&P is down, what, 3%? NASDAQ's down 3%, Dow down 3%. All right, Tesla's down more. I get that. We went from all-time highs of 490 to where it is now. But again, even if you discount that, it's really not that big because that wasn't so far this year that we hit all-time highs. I believe that was December. And so if you take it with a grain of salt, Tesla, despite everything that's happened, has held up pretty well. Now, I know everyone's like, okay, but like we were off to the races. Well, we do this every year. All right. We have the same conversation every year. And every year we know, like, hey, it's on the back half of the year where it really gets its mojo. But I think Tesla is going to get its mojo sooner than later. In fact, I think all of the Mag 7, all of tech is going to get their mojo here soon.
Mm.
In fact, Tesla, I don't have charts and everything to show you here, but on Sunday, I released a video kind of diving a little deeper into it. And if you're interested, go check that out. It's towards the end, so I'll save you all the other stuff in the front. I know I'm the worst YouTuber here, right? But essentially, long story short, if you look at this indicator called the BX Trender, which you guys have seen I imagine, interviews with like Pete DiCarlo and others. It's really just a momentum indicator. Okay, so essentially, it's saying, hey, which way are the tides going? Is the tide going in or is the tide going out? Okay, so that's all the BX Trender really is. And for the last 11 weeks, we've been seeing the indicator point to lower lows. All right. 11 weeks, by the way, is essentially the longest streak that we've had for lower lows on the BX Trender on the weekly basis, not like a daily, not like a 1 minute thing,
Yeah.
from like a week. All right. So we've had 11 weeks lower lows. Right. So that chart's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, that's essentially the max we've ever seen.
Mm.
And so that points to a lot of things. Like, one, it's like, okay, well, we're clearly oversold, right? There's been so much downward pressure that clearly we're due for a pop or for a rise.
Right.
And I think that's actually what's going to happen starting this week. In fact, if you looked at the BX Trender, it's already starting to come back up. So I think once we get into April, maybe these last 2 weeks of March, believe it or not, historically, St. Patrick's Day has kind of been a pivot point in the month of March. So there is something there. Again, I don't really care too much about the seasonality stuff or like these point in times, but it's good to know. It's interesting to know. It's one of the reasons why I was able to stay out of a lot of trades and be kind of cash heavy going into the start of the year. I warned everybody, first quarter tends to be a little messy. It's only happened 5 years in a row. I mean, who thought this year would be different? So I don't actually think that we're stuck. I think we've had a healthy pullback. And again, the reason I say healthy is because we're going to have a pullback. Nothing just goes up.
Mm-hmm.
But the pullback, it did not send us back down to 350 for Tesla. Right. We're myopically focused on Tesla. We didn't go to 350. We're literally at 398, I think, as of the close today. All right. So we're still sitting at, remember how hard it was to even get close to 400, right? Like literally just a few months ago, like not that long ago. And now here we are just keeping that really strong, base level, and we're hanging around there. So I think that we're very constructive. I think there's a lot of good news, whether it's 𝐑𝐚𝐽𝐻, robotaxi. It looks like that there's some other Model Ys being spotted that might be robotaxis in Dallas and Nevada. We see the regulations. We see the Duffy putting out that commercial. I mean, cyber cabs are about to start launching. I mean, there's lots of reasons to think that Tesla is just right there. And I know it's like, man, we've been saying that forever. Okay. No, we haven't. We've not been saying that forever. All right. In November and December, we're like, hey, we're partying. Okay.
Right.
What I'm saying is we've had 11 weeks of sobering up. And I think we might be getting ready to think about the next party here shortly. And it's just what I think. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But right now, it seems to me like momentum is ready to go the other way. And Tesla's held up really strongly. And there's lots of catalysts. Catalyst, dangerous word in the Tesla world, Tesla community. But it's there. They're there. We've got all the ingredients. Sometimes you make a cake.
Yeah. Okay. So you've heard my analysis. I think we talked about it last week that the Tesla right now. I mean, think about the good news that we had over the last few days, last few weeks, but especially over the weekend. And Tesla again didn't move that much. And then Nvidia gets a huge speech yesterday from Jensen, and the stock goes down. And so I have this. There's two things kind of in my theoretical head right now. One is that the war has got it all damped down. Oil problem is even more important than the war. If we were in the war and there was no oil problem, maybe we wouldn't have even had the correction. But we're sitting here with, like you said, a very constructive correction, almost exactly 5% on the S&P at the low, bouncing off of 387 like 17 times by Tesla. So that all looks really, really good. But I have the sense that we cannot get above 450, even in a fairly strong market, even with all these other catalysts, until robotaxis are rolling. People are so focused.
But why? We've already done it before.
Well, yeah, because we thought they were going to be rolling. So
remember, is that why? How do we know that's why it happened?
There's two.
We don't know.
We do know there was two things going on last time. So you may remember that Brian Wang and I were the only two people in the entire universe who called that. Nobody else called. I called 410 by the end of January, and Brian called 450. So he was actually closer. But both of us, I think both of us had more or less the same thinking. The Trump effect, but also robotaxi's almost here.
Hold on. What do you mean no one called anything? I said 500 by the end of the year of 2025. What are you talking about? We hit 499.
Well, you never said that to me.
I said at the start of the year. I said, what are you talking about?
By the beginning of the year. I see.
I said at the beginning of 2025, I said 500 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And this year, I said 600. I have prediction videos. People can go fact check me.
I'm not gonna say you didn't. I just know that Brian and I were both talking about it a month before and 2 weeks before, and right up against
13 months before.
Yeah, well, 13 months before.
December, I put out my prediction videos.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Listen.
Yeah.
That's good. I'll bring you into.
I'll give myself flowers. It's okay. Right. Randy likes Brian better. Everybody.
If we
give me flowers anymore.
If we have 3 people on this channel that all got it right, hey. Anyway, the short term to me catalyst last year was robotaxi looked like it was almost done, and the Trump bump. The part of the Trump bump was that'll take care of the regulations. So, in my opinion, that's what got us to 500. I think that's what got us to 410 years ago, and what got us to 300 or 300 and change before that. We got all these highs was always around robotaxi, even though sometimes there was a second thing like S&P inclusion. But every time it crashed because robotaxi didn't happen. That's my theory of the case. And right now, my theory of the case is that everybody's focused on robotaxi. They don't care about Optimus. They don't care about, macro hard. What they care about is show us the goods, Elon. Get those robotaxis out on the road, and then the stock goes crazy.
Okay, so this is where you and I are just going to disagree.
Okay.
I don't think it had anything to do with robotaxis. I think what happens is as you get towards the end of the year, as fund managers start to underperform, they want to all pile into somewhere to perform, and that tends to be Mag 7 companies. It's not like Tesla is the only company that was doing well. It was everybody, Palantir, Nvidia, Tesla, all of it. So I think it was more of a rising tide, lifts all vessels. And I think that's what happened in the tech sector. So I personally don't think I had anything to do with robotaxis. In fact, I don't think we've actually seen the move for robotaxis or cybercabs or any of that. I think when you see that, you'll know it and it'll hold. It'll be dense. It won't be this pocket of air that comes up. And I think those pockets of air is Wall Street playing their game, whether it's window dressing, whether it's just trying to get on the right side or position for the following year. I think that's what tends to happen. So that's my point of view. But this time, I think things are different, famous last words, because we have this alignment of regulation, production, and scaling. And it's all happening at the same time now. So that's why I feel confident about the period we're going into. And then just real quick, as far as the BX Trender and the weekly 11 weeks and all that, I just want to give credit to SMD Capital or Pretty Flacco, something like that on X. He's the one that actually brought that to my attention, that was where we were at 11 weeks. He did all the research, or whatever AI tool he was, did all the research on when was the last time and all that. So just want to give shout out to him. And then the other thing I was going to say something else. I don't remember what it was, but I'll let you get back to what you were saying.
All right. Okay. So let's go on to the Fed meeting tomorrow. We've got we're sitting here like you just said. We've retraced 50% of this 5% down, and so sometimes when you've got that retracement, maybe you continue up, maybe you go down and touch the 5% again. We get the Fed coming out tomorrow. I think there's no chance it raises, no chance that it lowers. And then we have one more meeting with Powell at the end of April, and then a new chairman on May 16th. And then he will have his first meeting on June 16th. But I wonder if you think he lowers the rates on day one or day two when he gets back, has a special meeting.
Okay, so I agree with you that nothing's going to happen tomorrow. It's all going to be about rhetoric. He'll probably sound more hawkish because of oil price and all that. If you're trading, avoid tomorrow. Don't be stupid. Just saying. Don't think anything stupid. If you think, hey, everything's fine after the numbers come out, remember the market doesn't start going crazy until Jerome starts speaking, right. And it goes really crazy once the questions start coming out.
Right.
Right. And normally, even the next day after the Fed moves, it's kind of a cautious day, because normally, however it ends tomorrow after he's done speaking, the true move happens the following day. So if we go up and the next day we could go down. Mm-hmm. If we go down, the next day we could go up. So sometimes it takes time to digest.
Right.
So that's just a little warning there. Through speaking through experience.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You should learn from your mistakes. So you make some bold assumptions there, Randy. You're assuming that Warsh is going to get a hearing to get essentially the position to get nominated, or he got nominated, but to be voted in.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I am. Yeah,
that's a big assumption.
It is.
There's a chance Jerome Powell stays in place.
So the Democrats would try to come up with some clever shenanigans to.
Doesn't even need to be the Democrats. You got Tillis. That's all you need.
Tillis.
He can block the whole thing.
So if you, I am going to. So apparently, I am going to live to continue to be able to have these great debates with Nick. Okay, so Tillis, all right, so Tillis, of course, said if you don't drop the suits or the effort to criminally prosecute Chairman Powell, then I'm going to hold up the nomination of Warsh. But in the meantime, a court has already decided that there was no standing or not standing, there was no case, basically threw the whole thing out. So do you think that Trump is going to bother at this late date to push it up to
It's
appeals or
too late.
court?
The second that came out on Friday,
Okay.
Judge Janine came out and she's right. She's the one with the DOJ investigation or whatever, and she essentially reined in and said we are going to go back to this. We have a legal lane. We have a precedent. All that. So
Oh,
she made she had a very fiery speech,
okay.
making it very clear that they will continue.
I missed that. I'm glad we had this conversation. All right. So, all right. So that continues on until us, you believe, would actually go through with it, and the president will not have something on Tillis that he can threaten him with.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I don't think they do go, or the White House doesn't tend to bend the knee to threats,
No,
to say the
no,
least.
definitely not.
So, and I don't think this will be an example where they do. I think it's more likely that you get like, I don't know, a Fetterman type, couple people that would vote and cross the aisle
Mhm.
rather than Tillis winning.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. So then if he comes in, if everything goes along, it kind of normally, do you think that based on the war, the oil prices, et cetera, we get nothing until June? Or do you think Warsh comes in and does something immediately? Or do you think Warsh comes in and says, you know what, with all this confusion and kerfluffle, we're not going to do anything either in June?
Mm, I don't know. It's hard to even like prognosticate because there's so many moving pieces right now. You got oil, you got the war. Will he get in? When will he get in? Will it be a last minute thing? Um, if the war does end, how fast does oil come down? Are we at that point doing something with Cuba? I mean, there's just so many things right now that I think it's too foggy to even make a prognostication.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. That's reasonable. Then we can't hold you to it.
I mean, you know me, I'm never one to shy for a
No,
prediction,
you're
but
not shy.
right
Not
now it's too the the chessboard has so many possibilities on which way it can go right now that's hard to know who's winning.
right, right, right. All right. So now you started this conversation a few minutes ago. I'm gonna go into the details now. So this is a little bit of a long setup. A
All right.
lot, a lot has happened this week. Samsung doubling down on chips, saying that they're going to open a second factory before they even started the first factory. I mean, it's there, but before they started making anything there. LG enters into a deal with Tesla to make lots and lots of batteries. And that helps LG recover from having after GM pulled out. Land being cleared in Austin and Houston, potentially 3 lots, and maybe even 4 lots being cleared to create factories of various kinds. Some people are saying that it's probably robotaxis. In Austin, it might be solar panels and solar arrays in Houston. And then a fourth plant might be chips, but I personally believe no, not chips, because they need to put it in a lab first before they start building the building. Anyway, that's long story. Anyway, cyber cabs being produced like crazy. Model Y robotaxis in Vegas, which you mentioned. A new hire for Dallas for robotaxi. Elon saying that the Terafab starts Friday. Microhard is restructured with Tesla now taking an equal or even a lead role. IPO coming in June. Merger talks are a daily thing between SpaceX and Tesla, and but the, the the folks are frustrated about Optimus being behind the curtain, nothing new on that, and robotaxi not coming out. I hear this frustration in my emails. I see the frustration, everywhere I look. The retailers, at least, are frustrated. But what are you thinking? We kind of talked about the robotaxi thing already. What I really want you to do is top down. I've never seen a list like this for anything, even for a country. I mean, it's a little close to what Musk is doing with the country and the world. But holy mackerel, what are you thinking about all of this kind of as a top-down thing as an investor?
With investor hat on, it's exciting, but an investor hat, you have to, as Warren Buffett once said, you have to make sure you're measuring with the correct measuring stick, right? And a proper measuring stick is at least 5 years, is at the bare minimum, is what Warren Buffett would say. And so if you're using the proper measuring stick, it's very exciting over the next 5 years. If you're pretending to be an investor and you're measuring with a trader's stick, then you're probably gonna be up for some disappointment on some of these. For example, like Microhard, hilarious name, by the way. It's just a hilarious name. If you don't get it, just think about it. Just think about it. Think about it like a 10-year-old boy, and then also think about another software company. You'll get everything. But I think something like that's going to take time. I don't think it's going to happen as quickly as they think. The Terafab, all that stuff, that's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. Just think of how long it took the 4680 stuff to go. Think about how long it took just to get the Cybertruck line going. I mean, just think about how long all these things took. Be patient. Now, the exciting thing would be more of the Cybercab stuff, because that's clear. I see them printing out the Cybercabs for testing or whatever they're using it for right now. And it reminds me of Giga Berlin, when we saw the Model Ys coming out just so they could get destroyed. It reminds me when we saw the Cybertrucks coming out just so they can go get destroyed. It's like you kind of, after seeing this so many times, you kind of have a feeling of where we're at, and that we are about to start. Like, it's very clear we're about to start. So I think that you can be excited about. So that's kind of what I think. Like, as an investor, it's, it makes you feel good that you have your money tied up into a company that is taking big bets and thinking long term. You don't go into building chips thinking short term, that's for sure. And so you just got to make sure that you, as an investor, match the company and their long term vision. I see so frequently, I see people thinking with not an investor's hat on, but a market analyst or Wall Street hat on, where they're living quarter to quarter. And if you're living that game, 12 months, 18 months, you're going to be disappointed investing in a company like Tesla. You just are. So many people just want that one big moment, right? That 2019 moment, or that 2013 or 2012 moment where we see a 10x. It's not happening. Like, I hate to bust people's bubbles. It's not going to happen. We are not going to see another moment like that, in my opinion, with Tesla. You're not going to see a $1.5 trillion company become a $10 trillion company over the course of 6 months. Not happening.
Right.
Just not happening.
Right.
So if it's almost a good thing that you know that, because it can help you stop being scared to do certain things with your positions, because it's not going to happen. You're not going to see a company 10x at that size.
Right.
So I don't know. To me, again, as from an investor hat, I'm extremely excited. Like, I think it's great to see them say they're going to do these things and then action on it quickly. Yeah. Now, again, I was excited about the 4680 battery too, and we see how long that's taken. And to be fair, I don't know how well it has gone. I think it's gone pretty good. Definitely took way longer than what they probably thought. And they're still buying a lot of other batteries. So, take that for what you will. And, I would not put all your hope into the Terafab, because we saw what happened with Dojo, right? And you know, they're using it, sure, but they're still buying a lot of Nvidia. In
Yeah,
fact, they're still predominantly buying Nvidia.
sure.
So I just say this like just take it with a grain of salt. It's not like just because Tesla does it, it means that's going to be amazing,
Hmm.
right? They make bets in certain areas, and sometimes it works out well. Sometimes it's just mid, just average, or just good enough, but it's not the same as the best, and it's fine. But I think a lot of things spin off, right? So if they weren't doing Dojo, they probably wouldn't have gone and made their own inference computers for the vehicles,
Right.
right? So that benefited the other, and so just goes down the chain. But so as an investor, because that was your question,
Mhm.
I'm really excited. I like these big bets. I like the vertical integration. I think the best moat you can have as a company is vertical integration plus the speed of putting capital to work plus innovation. And Tesla is historically really good at doing all three of those. Again, we still don't even see other companies being able to reland a rocket. We've seen a couple tests, right? Blue Origin kind of did it once. A Chinese company, they kind of had a little hop, but like we're not seeing anything. We're still not doing that. We still have yet to see other EV companies be able to build profitable EVs. Like it's literally a telescope, like Elon says. But if you have a 18-month horizon viewpoint as an investor, you're going to be very disappointed and you're not going to see the bigger picture, which is that we have a telescope to look at anyone else.
Right, right, right. Okay, so now the other big thing on the table, of course, is the merger between Tesla and SpaceX, which I think everybody that I talk to agrees will not be a subject of conversation until after the IPO. But just curious to know what odds you give that of happening. Do you believe it'll happen? Number two, do you hope it will happen? And number three, what should, for somebody who believes it's going to happen, what should the option value be right now for that on your Tesla stock? What should the value?
Can you rephrase the question? Because
There's
those
three
words
questions.
can mean different things.
Three questions. Number one, do you think it's going to happen? Odds.
For what specifically?
That Tesla and Robotaxi are going to merge. I'm Tesla and
SpaceX.
SpaceX are going to merge.
Okay.
Yeah. Number two, do you hope it happens? And number three, what would the option value of that be on a share of Tesla right now because of all the benefits that would come from that?
That's what I don't get is that last one. Like, what do you mean by that? The
Well,
option value.
once
Are you
once
actually
there's
talking about options or are you talking about
no, I'm talking about a option value. So the company, we have lots of option. There's lots of optionality in Tesla because everything is next year or 2 years or 3 years from now. So there's an option value to Robotaxi. I mean to Robotaxi. There's an option value to Optimus. There's an option value. So whether it's 10 billion or 50 billion or 5 billion or whatever, what do you think it's the if somebody's thinking about that as being, wow, that'll be great for Tesla, well, then it should have some value.
okay? So because you're talking to the guy who teaches people how to do options. So when you
Oh, yeah,
say
yeah. I'm
what's the
sorry.
option
Okay.
value,
Yes.
it really muddies the water on what do you
Okay.
mean by
All right.
that.
Okay.
So uh, let's start with first Tesla, SpaceX merging. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I'm back to my original point of view. I don't think it's going to happen. I think if it was going to happen, they'd be doing things a little differently than how they're operating right now. But I do, Tesla still has, right? They're converting it to SpaceX shares or whatever it is that they're doing for that investment. So I don't know. At this point, I'm like at a 5% chance it happens.
Oh.
95% it won't happen. So that's one,
Huh?
right? Uh, do I want it to happen? Honestly, yeah, I would love for all of them to be one company. Like personally, I would. Um, I just don't think I'm that lucky. Uh, and then as far as the upside potential from them, from something like that, um, I actually don't think it's any more than what the market value currently is. So as far as them combining together, SpaceX and Tesla, I would put it at essentially their market value. So Tesla right now, I don't know what its current market value is, but let's just go with 1.5 trillion. So that's generous, and SpaceX same thing. So I would say around 3.5 trillion would be what it would be together, is what I would say. So a
Okay.
little bit of a boost.
All right. No. So, okay. So let me ask it a little more long term because you like to think long term. So if the two companies come together, now we would be talking about the combined companies, their um, ability to throw off free cash flow, their ability to run up the trillions and trillions of dollars of profits. So not what it's going to be worth the day after. I mean, the stock could go up the day after, the stock could come down the day after. You never really know on these IPOs till they happen. But long term, this combination would create value. And right now, if I'm a Tesla shareholder and my shares could be merged, maybe 50-50, whatever it's going to be with SpaceX, my long-term holding becomes more valuable if that happens.
Yeah,
So
but again, over what period are you asking? 5 years, 10
five
years,
years,
15
yeah,
years,
five
20
years,
years?
yeah, 5 years, yeah.
5 years from now, it'd probably take about a year for them to create new cap table, go through everything. So you have 4 years left there. So let's just say um, 2031, maybe. Let's pick that as a number. Um, I think, incremental growth from what they would IPO at. So if they're 3.5 trillion, maybe they'd be about a 4 or 5 trillion company by 2031. Um, is what I would say. And I know it sounds crazy, right?
Yeah, it does.
The reason is Tesla in this scenario, if you're looking for a maximum
Yeah.
value, I think Tesla's better on its own over the next 5 years.
Mm,
If it's combined with SpaceX, you're gonna have the same problem that Tesla has right now, where it's like, oh my God, we see all the opportunity, but we don't see the cash flows. And Tesla's actually cash flowing really well, but they're throwing everything back into reinvesting.
mhm.
And the second you combine with SpaceX, you're gonna have the same problem. Yes, Tesla may be printing money with robotaxi rides all over, but I think that they're going to be spending that money almost just as fast as they could get it. Um,
Terafabs.
so yeah, I mean, terafabs, data centers in space, building out humanoid. I mean, like I just see it being as a big, not suck, but they're going to have place to put that capital to work. And you're going to go back to living to a world where people continue to say, oh, well, until it's on the balance sheet, you hear that all the time. And I fundamentally disagree with that. I don't think you actually need to see it on the balance sheet personally,
Right.
but I think there's a cohort of people, of big investors that you want in it that need to see it on the balance sheet. The same way as you had a big cohort of people that wouldn't invest into Tesla until it had a certain debt rating,
Right. Right.
or until it's part of the S&P 500 inclusion, right? Like there's all kinds of funds, uh, family offices that they have these rules and criterias, and it just is what it is.
Mhm.
So I think if they combine, well, now they have more places to put the money to work, bigger teams, more audacious projects. But if Tesla is standalone, they really don't have a lot of place to put that money to work. They got humanoids and more cybercabs. And I think those things tend to print a lot of money. They're not investing in building more rockets or putting new, like if you think about Elon's perspective, imagine he has all this money coming in. Okay, sure, you got Starbase. Well, why don't we have one in California? Why don't we put one in Hawaii? Why don't we put one in Australia? Why don't we put one let's make star bases everywhere? Let's have all these cities so that then they can become like airports. And
Right.
like
Right.
you start thinking about where does this go? And SpaceX has plenty of roadmap to print out ideas. I think for Tesla, it's more like humanoids, cybercabs, maybe drones, maybe some type of airplane, but maybe that falls more into space. I don't know. So it's hard. I don't know. It's prognostication. This is really far out at this point. I'd just be happy with seeing Cybercab roll out officially April, May, June.
That'll make you happy right now.
That's all I need.
Okay. So the flip side of that would be Optimus. They're building a factory to build 10 million. I think there's no way that factory can only build 10 million, but let's just call it 10 million. Let's say that the profit is only $10,000 per unit, which would be
Well, 10 million would be in Austin, right?
10 million in
Not
Austin.
California. Yeah. So
Yeah.
California would be 1 million. Okay.
Yeah. 1 million in California, 10 million in Austin.
Yeah.
They're building the factory now. Assume the factory will be ready to go by March of next year, maybe sooner. The lines might not be ready to go quite then, but somewhere around there, we'll start, the line will start moving in Austin. Maybe it's 2028 before they get to a 10 million run rate. Maybe it's 2029, but it's a long time before compared to 2031. At 10 million, at $10,000 a piece, it's a lot of money.
I don't think that's how it plays out.
Okay.
I think they need to think of, how I would think of it. Here's a good analogy. The S and X line that's going away for the humanoid lines, think of that the same way as 𝐓𝐻𝐸𝐝 was for the 4680 battery initially. It's a test bed, and it's going to take a while to figure that out before they decide, okay, now it's time to build it up at scale. And even once they build up at scale, now there's going to be all kinds of other learning lessons they have. I think the main reason they're doing S and X, it's not to test out the line as essentially what they were doing with 𝐓𝐻𝐸𝐝 and to figure out the different processes, but they need to start building enough humanoids to make the software good, to make the neural nets, or to have enough data for the neural nets to train on. I don't think that Optimus is anywhere, I don't think any of these humanoids are anywhere close right now to what they need to be for the true value and vision that we're talking about. I think we're still actually a good ways away from that. I think we're still learning a lot. I think we're still figuring out how to best train the humanoids, how to best train these models. And there's probably going to be even more iterations with the hardware. So I think the idea right now is kind of repeating the same playbook. We need enough units out there so that, I think Elon might have said this, or I might be making this up, but where essentially we can put them in the playground and have them play and learn.
They do. It's already happening right now.
I don't think it's happening the way they need it to happen. That would be no different than saying, hey, FSD version 9, some people have it. It's already happening, guys. Like, no. If we needed all these vehicles to get FSD where it was for such a simple, small domain of a problem, imagine the real world. We're probably going to need millions just to get to a place where it's actually viable to sell. And I think that's what's going to have to happen. And that's where we're going to have really large data sets, really large data centers in order to get this where it's actually really, really good. But I could be wrong. Like, there's obviously breakthroughs that could happen.
Right.
I don't think you can rely on synthetic data. I don't think you can rely on not having real world data. I think you're going to have to. Synthetic data has just not proven to be good. It's great for videos and it's great for training for things that are just on a screen, but I don't think it materializes out in the real world.
So let me throw out a middle road between what you think is going to happen and what I think is going to happen. The middle road would be that they are this close right now. What we've seen, just serving popcorn or serving drinks or whatever, they're close enough to where it would do the factory work in thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs. I mean, I know what my people did in my factory, and I could take 10 of those people right now. I don't have the factory anymore, but if I was still doing it, there's 10 people out of the 100 that I could have pulled and put robots in instead, and they would have done 40 people's work because they would have worked 4 shifts. and I worked 4 shifts. So, you know, in order to play the violin, I think you might be right. Maybe even to play the piano, you might be right. Maybe even to play the whatever bongos. It may not be ready, but to do pick and place really, really successfully, to be able to make certain decisions with regard to whether the equipment's running right or not, to look at the valves, to look at I mean, not the valves, the gauges, and say, oh, we got a problem. I think it's already there.
So the problem is you don't actually know what is happening with say the popcorn Optimus. I know we all want to believe that it's just straight AI, neural nets, nothing else, no heuristics, nothing. But we don't know. They haven't actually told us that. And I think there's probably a lot of buffering around that. I think there's probably a lot of bumpers with heuristics to make sure that it doesn't deviate and it just does the same boring, repetitive job. Mm-hmm. My point is not trying to like poo-poo it. I want everybody to have realistic expectations that the problem set is infinitely bigger. Even with like what you're talking about, these simple jobs, even that is an infinitely bigger problem set than just driving. Driving, you have all these signs, all these roads, all these niceties, very easy rules to follow. Factories, you might have something in Tesla's factory, but that might look different in Pepsi's and GE's and whatever, right? They're all gonna be different. They're all gonna have different rules. They're not gonna be the same. And for us to have even gotten to where FSD you can essentially put it anywhere and it pretty much knows how to drive, that took a lot of data capture, a lot. Billions upon billions of real world miles, not even synthetic miles, real world miles. So I just think it's going to have to get to that. I don't think there's any other way that you're going to be able to do this without faking it. So we'll see.
So you think that the 10 million, the potential in that 100, what is it? How big is it? 10 million square foot factory. You think that when they won't get up to 10 million production and sales until the 30s?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think that's realistic.
Okay. All right.
I think it's realistic, and it's, again, I say this all the time. I don't want that to be right. I obviously don't want that to be right. I want it to be this year, like obviously. But at some point, as a Tesla investor, we have to iterate away from our being overly optimistic and being wrong over and over and over again. And so I have tried very hard to think rationally based on the pattern recognition I've seen and what I've learned. And the pattern recognition I've seen is that any of these AI, I hate saying AI because it's such a generic term now and it's used sloppily, but any of these neural nets need to be trained on a substantial amount of data that has gone through a really good curation set. And the edge cases are very difficult to find and they're very nuanced. And something like a humanoid, it's infinitely more nuanced. Right? It's not just left, right, up, down, more acceleration, less acceleration. It's how hard am I squeezing? How light? Is that a kid? Is that a baby? Are they running towards me? Or are they not? Is this sand? Is this water? Is this a hard floor? Is this an escalator, elevator? What's happening here? Is this a treadmill? I mean, like the world is just so much more than just like even with the FSD. With the FSD, I don't even need to know what the object is. I just need to know, oh, damn, there's an object there. I need to go around the object. Right. I don't need to know that it's a truck, it's a piece of wood, whatever. Like there's a few things you want to know, like human, okay. Dog or animal, okay. Plastic bag, probably fine. But other than like a certain handful of things, everything else is object bad. That's all you need to know. Humanoid can't get away with object bad, So, anyways, my timelines are based on what I know right now, what they've shown me. April or maybe this month, if they show us Optimus and they do a presentation, they tell us all these other things, I I hope I'm wrong. I hope they show us something. But based on what we know today, based on all the data that they've given out, there's no reason to think otherwise, other than Elon says Optimus 3 is the best, most profound, whatever out of every other humanoid, but I won't show it to you.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like I love the guy, and I think he's extremely right about every approach he takes when it comes to technology. But at the same time, fool me once, fool me twice. Damn it, Elon, you're not getting me a third time. So I'll believe whatever when I see it, when you show it, when you demonstrate it. Until then, I'm not falling for the Cybertruck again. I'm not falling for the Roadster again. You know, I'm not falling for these things. So
Okay. All right. Now you did a
but I'm also not selling my shares because damn it, I'm not going to miss out on something.
You did a post that implied that you were not at all worried about Jensen and his outfitting of 7 other auto companies to do autonomous vehicles. What are your main reasons for thinking that this will turn out like other Tesla killer headlines?
I would take a loan out to place this bet. I'll take a second mortgage out to place this bet. You cannot outcompete vertical integration, and you cannot outcompete the lead Tesla has right now. I think it's over. It's the same reason that Google never had any competitors for search. It was over. It's the same reason that Amazon with deliveries and Amazon.com, it's like you can't compete it. Go for it. Good luck. Like, unless you're going to start also creating your own supply chain, making your own products, having your own factories, delivering your own products, having your own airline, you're like, good luck. Not happening. And by the way, that's not even how they make their money.
Right.
Like they have this other business that is their profit revenue generating arm. And hey, we can run the other business at cost. Right. Good luck, Walmart. Not happening. Right. So that's how Tesla is right now with Cybercabs. These other companies can't even make a profitable EV, yet this mysterious software is going to be what helps them do everything. That somehow, like, it's just, look, I don't buy it by any means. I think all this noise is going to be over and behind us over the next 18 months.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. And then Elon says that SpaceX will win the overall race in digital AI. Now, he might be talking about combining the two companies there in that conversation, at least with regard to, digital Optimus and whatnot, whether they're actually the same company, but a combination of the two working together. Do you think he's right? Do you think that Tesla will win the AI race? And who do you think is the most likely person to come in second?
I think it will. That's a good. I know. Okay, so I actually think Tesla will be second.
Okay.
Or just say Elon Musk will be second.
Right.
For probably okay. It depends. Well, it depends. If we're talking about AI in the sense of digital, I think it's going to be Google by a landslide for a long time. I think Google's going to be extremely hard to outcompete. If you're talking about real world, I think it's going to be Tesla by a landslide for a very long time. So it just depends on what you're talking about there. I think they're both going to be the 1-2, and I don't see Tesla being disrupted in the real world anytime soon. But at the same time, I don't see Google being disrupted in the digital world anytime soon. I mean, Google has been a little quiet recently, but that just tells me that they're cooking even more. And Google just has just moats and data and so many businesses. They're just very difficult to compete. I mean, they're essentially owning the iPhone now. I mean, like they know what they're doing. They don't just own the iPhone, okay? They own mobile now.
Right.
Like, think about that. So everyone thinks that they're falling behind. Hey, they were this dominant search engine. Okay, they still are, by the way. So they still have that business,
Right.
but now they're going to be the company on mobile devices when it comes to AI. Like that's arguably a much, much bigger business. So I think it's going to be the two of them. I think everyone else is going to be watching and playing for scraps.
So right now you've got OpenAI with a lead on the retail consumer side. You've got Anthropic all of a sudden going crazy with their Claude. I mean, they're like this in terms of their revenues and profits. Um, do you think that either one of them have a shot as a dark horse, um, or is everything that they're doing just a matter of time before everybody does it?
I think so. Yeah, I just don't think there's a a place for them to actually make money. Um, I get they're making revenue right now, but at an extreme loss. It's just I don't see it, right? Amazon.com was able to really disrupt and move fast because they had AWS supporting them,
Right.
right? Um, Google was able to do the same thing for GCP, for other businesses. Microsoft was able to do the same thing. Even Tesla was able to do something very similar, right? Where right now for autonomy and all that, all the investments is because they were able to make a profitable EV. They started making profits on batteries and the energy side of it. And so that's been able to feed things back in. Um, Apple has their own ecosystem, right? So these companies that have these ecosystems and other businesses within the business that fund the R&D for the bigger bet, and that funds the bigger bet, and that funds the bigger bet, that's really hard to compete against. And I don't think OpenAI or Anthropic are going to have that. I mean, they're trying. You can see it's so obvious they're trying. So you
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
can see they're trying to create businesses,
Yeah.
but I just it's just hard for me to see it be successful.
Okay. All right. And then listen, I looked it up, and
Oh,
your grandfather Gibbs, he claimed to have 50 rules.
oh
And
yeah.
it turns out that the highest rule that he ever talked about on CSI was rule number 91. But when you dig into it, and one time I did dig into it, when you dig into it, he
Wait,
only
50
ever,
rules, but rule 91?
yeah, so he said he had 50 rules, but then at one point he said this is rule number 91. And if you
Okay.
dig into it, the maximum that you can find is 37, even though some of the numbers were higher.
All
So
right.
I don't know whether whether your great grandfather passed this along, but I'm thinking that you currently have a lot of rules. And that
I
you
do.
and that some of those rules have to do with how you trade options, and that sometimes you
Oh,
teach those rules. I like it, like it, huh? That's pretty good.
I had no idea where you're going with this. I feel like no one knew. I was like, I didn't know
Everybody,
either. I think,
everybody in the audience knew that who Gibbs was, though, because we're all over 55. So we all watched every single week of CSI. So you have a lot of rules.
I do have rules, or not rules. I'd like to say they're more guidelines.
Guys.
When I teach options, or there's I'm going to say three, and I'll probably come up with two other goals. But there's really three goals I have. One, I want people to stop hurting themselves with options. I've seen enough people, and I say, like, I know like we don't all know each other, but the Tesla community, we're kind of all linked one way or another. And so I don't know, like I feel bad when I see people talk about like, oh yeah, I've got these $700 leaps that are going to zero. I spent X amount of money on it. It's like you didn't have to do that. Like there's such a better way.
So
So that's
concept
one.
number one is don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. Well, I don't want people to hurt themselves. I don't want people to lose money. It's just
Right.
that's and it gives honestly, it gives a world that I love and an asset class that I love a bad name
Yeah.
because people learn how to kind of use it and then they just do it in a very wrong way. Number two, there's so many people, Randy, who have a decent sized portfolio and they think that they have to keep working, or they think that they have to live on rice and beans because they don't know how to be capital efficient with the portfolio. They don't know how to make money off of their portfolio. They have no idea.
Mhm.
And it's, I have a handful of students that I do one-on-one coaching with, mentorship with, and it is amazing to see how after the course, like they're like, okay, there's something here, and they sought me after, like, hey, I want to accelerate. I don't want to go and have to like do this on my own and figure it out and make mistakes. I want to like shortchange, or I want to short circuit this. And so that's where we work together. And to see them, this one guy, he's I posted about him recently, but he's a retired Air Force pilot. Now he's like a private pilot, but he went from making like $1,000 in a week to the following week 7,000. And when we talked to each other, he's like, after we got done with the session, he's like, man, if we would have had the session before, I think I could have done like 14, 15 grand this past week. And it's like, yes, exactly. Like, you're getting it. We're doing things in a safe, smart, capital efficient way.
Right.
We're not doing stupid things. We're being intelligent. We're not giving up our shares. We're like, it's so simple of a concept, but nobody's ever like taught people how to do it, right? It's like, if you don't know how to balance a checkbook or how to write a check, it's daunting. You don't even know where to start. You're like, I don't know, I write numbers here, I do something here. Like, but once someone shows you, you're like, oh, that's not hard.
Right.
Most things in life are like that.
Yeah.
You just don't know how to do it. But once
Right.
someone shows you how to do it, like, oh, that's not that hard. It's pretty straightforward. So anyways, those are kind of like, and I guess the last thing is which ties into that. I'm just really passionate about financial independence. I always have been since I was a little kid. I never understood this concept of retiring at an age rather than retiring after you have a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gone down so many rabbit holes when it comes to financial independence, the 4% rule, the was it 4-day work week, the financial independence, retire early community. I've been part of all of it. And this is my way to put my fingerprint on the financial independence world. And I think it's not for everyone. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, you got to have money to make money.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you still have credit card debt, if you don't even have like 20 grand to your name, not going to be for you. You got some work to do. But if you've got 50 grand plus and you don't have like crazy debt and like you've got a job and all that, like it's amazing what learning how options actually work can do for you. Yeah. Anyways, I'll stop.
Okay. All right. And so that was a very long commercial, but you see, it wasn't just a commercial. It was a learning experience. And we also got to talk about Gibbs, your family member.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for those of you who might want to join his class, do you still have any openings in the April class?
For the April, I do. March closed out last week.
Out. April's got some spaces. All right. So you just go down below into the description. You'll see it's right at the top of the description. Click that link so that Randy actually gets paid for doing that commercial. Okay. That's so, all right. Let's look. You got anything else that I missed? Did I miss anything today?
No, I think you got it all.
Okay. Well, let's look at the numbers then. We got Tesla ended up the day up. I got too much bright light in this room. Ended up 0.94, almost a full percent during the regular trading, and is giving back a little bit of that in the after hours. Actually, I don't have Robinhood. Do I have Robinhood ready to go?
It's flat. It's 2 cents down.
2 cents down. All right, so there you go. So 399.20 as of this, as what Robinhood is showing me. It's probably showing you something else because we can't even agree on that. Yeah.
No, it's 399.21.
Okay. All right. Yeah, mine just went to 21 too, but yours went sooner than mine. See? I don't know. You've got a special.
Because I'm on the right coast, my friend.
I got okay. Yeah, I saw where St. Petersburg, your town, is the #1 best place to live in the United States.
In Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't suck.
Okay.
Hey, Tesla went green. 3 cents.
3 cents in the after hours.
Now it's 15 cents. Now 6 cents.
All right. All right. Let's look at the bonds. Okay. There was it was a headline going by about Japan beating their forecasts.
Yep.
4.2% growth in February. All right, gold. I'm sorry, not gold. Where's bonds? Bonds always have to be first on my show. So, so bonds are up a little bit in the pre-market, up 0.6%. They were down earlier. So we're sitting at 420 and 0.8%. Call it 421. Can bonds come down before oil is solved?
Honestly, yes, it can, but
About
it
yields?
probably won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It probably won't. I would, and I just say because I think oil will come down first.
Okay. So you think
I,
oil? Yeah.
I think it's
Let's
gonna
talk
sound
oil.
crazy.
Let's talk oil.
Yeah, well, this is gonna sound crazy, but I think we've normalized oil now. The market has absorbed it. The market is essentially saying it's fine with $90 to $105 oil.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's what I think.
Okay. So you think that oil will stay in the 90 to 105 until we get the straits open or
Yeah. So I don't want to get too
yeah.
technical on you guys when it comes to options and futures, but it's like one of the reasons why options and futures markets are important is because you can see what the markets actually think is going to happen. And what
Right.
the market is saying, we're in what's called backwardation. And backward, again, I don't want to get too technical, but
Okay.
what backwardation is essentially saying is if you have the closer time period of contracts for oil
Mm-hmm.
more expensive than the future ones, that's called backwardation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Normally you pay more for future
Right.
than you do for upfront,
Sure.
right? So that's backwardation. But when you have that backwardation happening, what that tells you is that the market does not think that oil prices are going to stay high in the future.
I see.
It means that they think it's going
Right.
to come down.
Right.
So backwardation right now, like right now, oil prices, futures looking like, 95, something like that. But the future markets are telling you that in about a month, 2 months from now, it's looking like $70, $75, something like that.
Okay.
So that tells you a lot that you need to know.
They're believing that the war will be over in a few weeks, or that at least the
Correct.
straits will be open. All right.
Yeah. And again, like traders, market makers, Wall Street, pretty much everyone other than long-term retail, I would say, looks at this to make an assessment of what the market is saying.
Right.
Because remember, the market's no more than the collective thoughts and knowledge of everybody.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yep.
So that's why, you'll hear me frequently say, if we know something, the market's already factored that in.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we got gold. I'm sorry, gold. We got natural gas basically flat in the afternoon, but was up. I'm sorry, down earlier. We're at 303 now, which is still a little high for this time of year, but not bad. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Gold continues to flirt with 5,000. What do you think? Is gold? Larry and I are still betting it goes to like 3,400. I think Larry's even lower. I think he thinks it goes into 2,000s.
Oh, you're both wrong.
Okay, it's going to go up.
Well, I don't know if it's going to go up. It's not going to go that low. I know that. I'll take the other side of that all day.
Okay. Silver was running up quite nicely, but now it's taking a breather, down 0.55 and under $80 again. Copper, which I never did have a chance to figure out why it had dropped so low the other day, but it is down 0.03 in the pre-market at $5.77. And the dollar is mixed as it usually is. And Bitcoin is flat for the day. Don't even have to talk about it because it's so flat. Ethereum is down a little bit, but really flat for Ethereum. And the futures for tomorrow morning, we've got they're flat also. So I'm guessing that the flat.
Everything's flat tomorrow. Everything's flat tomorrow until 2:30 p.m.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow, it'll look like the stock market just opened.
as everybody starts juggling.
Yeah.
All right.
So
All right, then Nicholas, as always, great to have you on. I'll remind people again to look down below, go to the description if you'd like to participate in Nick's class, and you'd like to do it with that link down there. That's the only way you want to do it. And later on tonight, it'll be Brian White, as he usually is on Tuesdays. Nick, any last thoughts? Do you have a rule number 4 just before we go, but not a paragraph, just one sentence?
don't trade on Fed days.
There you go. Don't trade on Fed days. I think that's probably really wise. All right. Thanks, Nick. And to all of you out there, it has been great talking to you.